If you feel called to entrepreneurship, to run a business, to start a company, and you feel called to lead and coach and mentor and write and teach and preach, and you keep starting and stopping and building and starting over and trying new things, second guessing, and wondering if you're just getting it all wrong, this episode is for you. Welcome back to the Well Done Women podcast. This podcast is for Christian entrepreneurs who feel called to lead and build businesses for the glory of God, the good of others, and the financial benefit of you and your family. And today we're talking about something that I see all the time. Women who are called, who are gifted, who are capable, who are powerhouse leaders, but they're stuck in these cycles of starting and stopping and spinning their wheels and trying new things and it not working out. And then they want to give up before they even got traction, before they even really got things going. And it's not because they're unqualified or incapable. It's just because they don't have this one simple thing. And so today, that's what we're going to be going over. What is this one simple thing? Why do we keep starting over, spinning our wheels? And so if that's you, buckle up and take your time throughout this episode. And listen, before we dive in, if you are in business and you want to build an online business like coaching, courses, communities, I want to invite you to a free workshop that I've created. It's called the Online Business Workshop. It's totally free. And I help you figure this out. I help you get those first business wheels spinning to get you some clarity on what it is that you're supposed to do, which business model best fits for you. And so if you're interested in this, head over to welldonwomen.com/workshop. It's totally free. You can jump in, you get immediate access to it. So just go to welldonwomen.com/workshop. So, okay, let's talk about why you feel stuck and what's actually going on beneath the surface here. I remember years and years ago, I was sitting with three babies under three. Noah, Joe, and Brody were all babies, and I knew that I felt called to do something. I loved being a mother. I loved being a stay-at-home mom. But I always knew that I was called to something bigger. Not necessarily better than that, but just something bigger than that. I knew I was called to serve women. I knew I was called to do ministry. And the whole business thing was very, very new to me. I was a teacher in a public school system. I had a lot of babies in a short amount of time. And so I ended up being a stay-at-home mom. And I tried a whole bunch of things. And I remember like sitting there with a big notebook, like what could I do? What could I do? And so I started selling supplements with this MLM company. And I remember I was tutoring a little bit on the side, kids, because I knew I could help kids and I could teach. And then I, picked up a camera and I started YouTubing and I figured out how to become a photographer. Thankfully, that worked out really, really well. But I feel like I was in this vicious cycle of starting one thing, getting a little bit of momentum, doubt would creep in, or exhaustion would creep in, or I just wasn't having fun anymore doing it. I have built online businesses. I've sold digital products, courses, membership communities. I've hosted workshops. I've done one-on-one coaching, group coaching. I've built an online boutique. I built out a brick and mortar boutique in our small town of Watson, Louisiana. And I feel like I was just in this vicious cycle of getting excited about something, building it to the point where it got successful, and then realizing like, this isn't it. Or feeling like I don't think I did the right thing, or feeling like maybe I wasn't using all of me or what I believed I was capable of. And I got in just, again, this vicious cycle of starting, building it, and then pivoting, starting, building it, pivoting. And so I know I'm not the only one, because I have met you. I work with you on a day-to-day basis. And we can get caught in living in this cycle of building it, running it, doing it, and then questioning, doubting. We have multiple ideas. We're passionate about a lot of things, and we do a lot of things that we could do. And I think that's where I realized that I can get caught up in what I could do instead of what I was created to do. And so, long story short, the Lord called me away from everything. He called me to shut down my online business, to close doors of my brick and mortar boutique, to shut down the online boutique. And we were even Airbnb hosts, and He called us to move away from everything. And we ended up moving into our Airbnb, our condo, and so I was left with literally nothing, nothing left. I remember sitting in my condo feeling like, okay, what am I doing? Who am I? Like, what is my purpose in life? I'm no longer selling anything. I'm no longer running any more businesses. I'm no longer an Airbnb host for our condo. I'm no longer doing anything. And so I was in this really weird season where I wasn't just pivoting to the next thing. Like the Lord had stripped me away from that. The Lord had like literally shut everything down. And I was in this wasteland, this wilderness season of nothing. And the only thing I could do in that season was seek the Lord because I wasn't running a business. My kids were all in school at that time. And so I had all the time, all the hours in the day. And I knew that something had to change. And the Lord was teaching me something. He was pivoting something, not just in my work and in my business, but He was pivoting my heart. He was pivoting what I believed. He was pivoting my mind. And that pivot was stop doing what you could do. Stop chasing things. Stop trying things. Stop doing what you could do and take the time to learn what you were created to do. And so what I want to encourage you today, if you feel like you have been running the rat race of life, or that you're just exhausted of trying this, trying that, buying this course and trying this thing, buying, getting this coach and trying her way of doing things, I want to encourage you to slow down a little bit, because I believe that the answer is not more ideas, trying more things to fix constantly starting over and fix pivoting time and time again is one thing. The fix to this, the answer to this, the solution to this issue is slowing down and gaining clarity on who you are, on what you're called to do, on who you're called to serve. And it's slowing down long enough to filter everything through what God has already placed inside of you. In 1 Corinthians 14:33, there's a scripture that says, God is not a God of confusion, but a God of peace. He does not want you to feel scattered. He doesn't want you to feel unclear, but He does want you to slow down enough to seek Him, to know Him, and to realign our life and our passions to what He has created us to do. So the question now is, okay, well, how do we do that? If you're in the season where maybe you have shut something down, or maybe you're shutting something down, maybe you walked away from a career path that, you spent your whole life building. Maybe you are in the season where you're like, this isn't it, but I'm not quite sure what is, but what I do know is this ain't it. If that's where you're at and you want to know, like, what do I do now? The first thing I want to encourage you to do is slow down. Stop trying things. Stop building things before you do these three things. Okay, so these are the three things that I want to encourage you to do if this is the season that you're in, so that you stop pivoting, you stop trying, you stop building the wrong things, and you actually do not what you could do, but what you were created to do. The first thing that I want you to do is identify what's already in your hand. Identify who you are. Identify how God uniquely wired you and created you. When I teach this in my book and in the challenge, the Clarity in Your Calling Challenge, I call this your spark. God has given you 5 things. It's you didn't ask for it, you didn't work for it, you certainly didn't earn it. But God has freely, by His grace, given you 5 things to understand what you were created to do, the will on your life, the specific calling in your life. I teach this in the challenge, but we have a general calling and we have a specific calling. Our general call is the call to Christ, the call to salvation, the call to holiness, the call to know Him, the call to be with Him, the call to have relationship with Him. And the overflow of that is our specific calling. It's us, it's God pouring Himself in us through the general call and pouring out of us in the specific call. That's what we do. That's our purpose in life, right? The plan that God has for us. But it all starts with understanding your spark. Okay. It's understanding the passions, what you naturally love, what you're naturally drawn to, the passions that God has given you. It's His passions because you've spent that time with Him. It's your strengths. It's what you're good at. It's your attributes, your personality, how God has uniquely wired you to serve others that I talk about in the challenge. That your personality and your attributes, those are tools that God has given you that and it's a very specific tool, and it's a way that you can serve the specific person that God has called you to. It's the resources around you. It's not just, that you have money in the bank, which that might be a really big resource that you have. I don't know. But it's the resources like, what has God given me in this season right now? Has He given me a home that I can use? Has He given me Wi-Fi that I can use? Has He given me social media platforms that I can use? Has He given me a car? Has He given me an audience, an email list, coaching client? Like, what has God given you? Who has God given you right now? That is what you use to serve. And the people that you serve, that is part of your assignment. That is a part of what you do and who you serve and how you do it. And the best thing that He has also given us is Himself. He has given us access to the Holy Spirit. He has given us the keys to the kingdom, which is wild to me. Like, Christians have such an unfair advantage to do work and to be entrepreneurs, because not only do we have the resources, we have strengths and passions and all the things, but like, we have Him. Okay. Like, that is the thing that's going to help us walk forward in this call in your life. So number one, how do we get clarity? How do we do this? Is we just identify what God has already given us, who we are, how He's wired us, how He's created us. And y'all, this takes time. I meet in my challenges women in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and have no idea what their God-given strengths are. They have no idea what they love to do because they've been in survival mode, being mothers and wives, working these 9-to-5 jobs just to put food on the table. And they've never spent time, they've never taken 5 days to actually study the beautiful creation that they are and identify the specific call in their life to see like what truly is the purposes and plans that God has given them. And that's why this challenge is just like life-changing for everyone who comes. So the first point here is identify what's already in your hand. Identify your spark. What is it? And again, if you need help figuring this out, come to the challenge. welldonwomen.com/challenge. Jump in. It's a life-changing event. All right, point number 2. How do we fix starting, stopping, pivoting? We choose the right business model for your wiring. Simple as that. You don't choose what's trending, not what somebody else is doing. Please just don't do what somebody else is doing. Okay? That is going fast down the wrong path. Okay? Don't just pick something because she did it and she was successful. Pick the business model, choose the business model that's actually in alignment with your spark, with what God has given you, what actually fits how you're specifically designed to show up and serve. This is where most women go wrong. They might know, like, okay, I'm really good at this, but then they build a business that has nothing to do with their strengths. Or, hey, I'm really passionate about this topic. I'm really passionate about this specific people group, this person. I really think I can help them. But then they build a business that doesn't fit how they're naturally wired. So they try to copy and paste, because we are millennials, especially the copy paste generation. I'll just do that. I'll paste it. The problem with that is that if you build your business like her, instead of building your business around your spark and what you're good at and what you love to do, you're going to want to burn it down as soon as it gets momentum. That's why you've been pivoting. That's why you've been jumping from thing to thing. I remember when I was doing the MLM company, I was selling these supplements, and I truly enjoyed doing it at the time. I enjoyed doing it, but I was just copying and pasting what other people did, and it wore me out. I'm a teacher. I want to talk, I want to speak. I don't want to dance around on TikTok and Instagram, but like I just did what they did to sell the products. Like, if that's not you, or if you're not a natural born entertainer, then stop dancing around just because it works. You're going to hate yourself after. Do Create the business model and do what you were created to do. Not only in how you build your business, but how you market your business, how you show up and serve your clients. And again, if you don't know what this business model looks like and how it's in alignment with your spark and how God's created you, please, for the love, come to the challenge and just get this right. Figure this out. Instead of trying to figure this out for the next 50 years, spend 5 focused days and focus on how God created you. It doesn't take long. You just got to focus, and it's intentional focus, and it could set you up for the next 50 years of your life, where you can actually have a purpose-filled, profitable business that serves your family, that feeds your kids, that glorifies God, and then, hey, serves the people around you. All right. So let me recap. How do we fix stopping, starting, pivoting, trying, doing all the vicious cycle? First, we identify your spark. We identify who you are. Okay. Second thing is we choose the right business model to run this ministry that's inside of you, to run this thing that you want to do. And then third is that we turn it into a clear plan. That's it. Figure out who you are, figure out what to do. Now figure out how to do it. Turn it into a clear plan. Okay? Clarity isn't just like, I feel called to fill in the blank. Clarity is saying, this is what I feel called to do. This is who I feel called to help. This is the problem that I solve. This is how I solve the problem. This is the offer and package that I have put this in to solve said problem. And this is how I'm going to show up and serve her. And this is how I'm going to make money. This is the plan. Until you have clarity on all those things, you're going to keep spinning. You're going to keep starting and stopping. And that is not God's plan for your life. God's plan for you is peace. God's plan for you is purpose. God's plan for you is profit. And listen, Linda, listen, if that feels a type of way for you, God does not want his children to live in poverty. I don't know who told you to believe that. That is not true. But listen, I know that you've thought this because I have believed that in one point in my life. In order to truly do God's work, in order to truly do ministry, I have to live in poverty. That's not true. Do you want to know why that's not true? Because as believers, as children of God, as Christians, we are called to serve. We are called to give. We are called to give generously. We are called to help. We are called to lead. How can you do any of those things? How can you write the life-changing book, build the life-changing curriculum, coach life and create life change for your clients? How are you able to show up and podcast and pour out if you are living in poverty? Does it make sense now, does it? But what if you actually built a purposeful, profitable business that made profit? What could you do with that? You could give generously to your church. You could create programs and resources for your clients that'll help them 10 times more than if you were just living paycheck to paycheck. You could hire people and employ people in your business. Like, you could get out of debt. Imagine that. And then, or how about this? You can enjoy your spouse, your children, because you have the means to do so. You're able to build a life. So I just want, like, I'm so sorry that I kind of like went off there, but I believe somebody needed to hear that today. Clarity provides you these things. And until you have clarity on who you are, what to do with it, and then how to have a plan moving forward, you are going to stay stuck. You are going to continue this vicious cycle of starting, stopping, and spinning your wheels. And listen, when you get this clarity, once everything clicks, everything changes. So here's what I want you to do. Here are some action steps that you can implement right here, right now, in case you don't ever come to a challenge. First, I want you to get out of your head these ideas that maybe God has been given you. Okay. Like maybe you feel called to write a book. Maybe you feel called to become a mentor or coach. Maybe you feel called to grow the current business that you have. I don't know what it is, but first I want you to just get out, like, what do you feel called to do in this season? What's God been kind of like putting on your heart that has been interesting to you? I want you to just get it out. Okay. Now what I want you to do is ask yourself, which of these ideas aligns with how God has actually wired me? Does this align with what I'm good at? Does this align with what I love? Does this help the people that I feel called to help? And if you're like, well, I don't know who the people I feel called to help, here's what Rory Vaden says: you're perfectly positioned to serve the person you once were. So if you are confused about that part, remember who you once were before you became the person you are today. Okay? Remember her. Remember who she was. And then ask yourself, is what I feel called to do, is what I love to do, can this or does this align with how God has naturally wired me, with what I'm good at, with what I love to do, and does it help her? Okay? Now I want you to make a decision, not a forever decision, but a right now decision. And I want you to choose and decide, am I going to move forward with this call? Does this actually align with who I am? And then how am I going to move forward with the call? And again, if you don't know the answers to those questions, then I want to, again, personally invite you to the Clarity in Your Calling Challenge. It's 5 days. And we will take all of that confusion, all of that overwhelm, all of that starting and stopping, all of that. Like, if you are even confused about what you're good at, this challenge will help you. If you're confused about your passions in life, this will help you. If you're confused about what personality, if you're confused on how all of that connects to a business model, if you don't already know this answer right now on this podcast episode, please come to the Clarity in Your Calling Challenge. We will take 5 days. We will work together. I will be live with you. I will know your name. I will know who you are. And I will answer your questions. I will help you get unstuck. And in 5 days, we will turn what you feel called to do in a clear, profitable business model. And then I will give you a 30-day action plan. But you got to come to the challenge. Okay? Because this takes time to understand, to figure out. This isn't a quick fix. But let me tell you, if you do choose and decide, like I'm done spinning my wheels, I'm done starting and stopping, I'm done trying to figure this out on my own, and if you choose to just take 5 days of your life and focus on yourself, you won't leave with just more ideas. You will leave with a decision and a plan. So, if that all interests you, head over to welldonewomen.com/challenge and join me. Join us. And the best part is you get to meet other women who are called, who are believers, who are God-fearing, Jesus-chasing women of God who want to do what they're called to do and do it with purpose and make a profit. So listen, you're not stuck because you're not capable. You're not stuck because you are underqualified or not qualified. You just need this one thing, and that one thing is clarity. Okay? And you don't have to wait the next 50 years to get it. It's something that you can get right now. So stop circling, stop guessing. Let's build what God has placed and put on your heart. So excited to see who joins me in the next challenge. I'll see you there.